dips below the horizon, and as the amber glow fades from your room, a profound stillness seems to settle over the world. To our human eyes, this break darkness signals the end of the day, a time for rest and silence. But for the small hidden inhabitant of the cage in the corner, break time 05's, the disappearance of light is a starting gun. While the world sleeps, a high-stakes survival drama begins to unfold, guided not by sight, break time 5's, but by a world of vibrations and invisible chemical trails. You might look at your hamster and see a fragile, fuzzy pet, but in the shadows, break time 05's, they transform into masterful navigators of the night. Their eyes, though large and dark, are nearly useless in this gloom. Break time 05's, seeing only a blur of shapes and shadows. To survive in a world where they are often the hunted, break time 05's, they have traded sharp vision for a supernatural sense of hearing and a nose that can map an entire room with a single sniff. Break time 05's. This isn't just about finding a hidden sunflower seed. It is a complex, ancient dance of survival that has been refined over millennia. Break time 05's, as the yard goes quiet and the house falls still. Break time 05's. Your hamster's true journey is just beginning. The mystery of the hamster's night begins with a paradox of biology. They possess large, break time 05 soulful eyes that seem designed to take in the world, yet in reality, these creatures live in a perpetual blur. Break time 05's, because their vision is remarkably poor, especially in the low light of a bedroom or the deep shadows of a burrow. Break time 0.5's, they don't see the world as a collection of sharp images, but rather as a series of shifting shapes and light gradients. Break time 0.5's, to compensate for this lack of visual clarity, nature has gifted them with a sophisticated biological radar system.
Break time 5's.
Every twitch of their whiskers and every tilt of their rounded ears is a data point being processed by a brain that is finely tuned to the frequency, break time 05's, of survival. Imagine navigating a dense forest using only the echoes of your footsteps and the scent of the earth. This is the daily, or rather, break time 05's, nightly, reality for a hamster. They have traded the luxury of color and distance for the mechanical necessity of close-range detection. Break time 05's, data allowing them to map their environment with a precision that defies their tiny stature. Break time 05's. This sensory map leads us to one of the most heartwarming aspects of their behavior, the way they identify the giant in their life. Break time 005's. While they might not be able to recognize your face from across the room, they know exactly who you are the moment you speak. Break time 05's, because they rely so heavily on auditory cues, your voice becomes a beacon of safety in their dark world. Through consistent, gentle interaction, break time 5's, these small rodents actually memorize the unique frequency and pitch of your speech. It is a bond built entirely on sound and scent. Break time approach the cage after dark. You might notice a sudden shift in their activity. Perhaps the frantic running on the wheel stops. Break time 0.05's, or the digging in the bed, pauses as they stand on their hind legs to scan the air. This isn't just random movement, it is a conscious recognition. Break time 005's. If they have grown accustomed to your presence, that voice is the signal that the environment is secure. Break time 05's, transforming a creature that is naturally wired for flight into one that actively seeks out the edge of the cage to greet a friend. However, break time 05's, this recognition is a fragile thing, constantly balanced against a deep-seated instinct for self-preservation. Break time 05's, this brings us to the split-second decisions they make when the silence is broken by an unfamiliar sound. In the wild, break time 05's, a hamster's life depends on its ability to react before it even understands what the threat is. Because they sit near the bottom of the food chain, break time 05's, their brains are hardwired for a flight-first response. Break 05's. A sharp floorboard creak or the sudden rustle of a curtain can send them bolting into the deepest corner of their cage or diving headfirst into a break time 05's tunnel. This is the raw power of their hearing at work, a survival mechanism that prioritizes speed over curiosity. Yet, break time 05's. There is a fascinating transition that occurs once trust is established. Break time 05's. When that sound is replaced by the familiar low vibrations of a known human voice, the fear reflex is suppressed. Instead of retreating, break time 05's, they might engage in what looks like a performance, vigorously spinning their wheel or ostentatiously grooming. This isn't just exercise. Break time 05's, it's a display of comfort. Break time 5's sign that they feel secure enough in your presence to carry out their most energetic nightly rituals without the constant fear of a predator looming. Break time 0.5's in the shadows. While the comfort of a cage provides safety, it cannot erase the ancient maps etched into a hamster's DNA. Break time 05's, leading us to the incredible physical feats they perform while you sleep. In the vast, arid landscapes of their ancestors, Break time .05s, food is a scarce resource that requires immense effort to secure, and this biological drive remains fully intact in your pet. Break time .05s under the cover of total darkness. A hamster transforms into a long-distance athlete. Break time 05s capable of traveling between 8 and 10 kilometers in a single night. This isn't merely aimless wandering. It is a focused break time ZO5 sensory-driven mission to forage and gather. Break time 5s. Every rotation of the exercise wheel in your room is a modern echoes of a trek across kilometers of desert terrain. Break time 5s. Their whiskers act as high-precision tactile sensors, brushing against surfaces to create a mental blueprint of their surroundings. Break time 05s, while their sense of smell detects the faintest hint of a seed or a grain from distances that would be impossible for a human to perceive. Break time 05s, this tireless journey is fueled by a high metabolic rate and an urgent need to stockpile resources. Break time ILS-FI-A behavior that ensures their survival in an environment where the next meal is never guaranteed. This relentless activity, however, break time 5s, is always performed under a cloak of extreme vigilance. Being positioned near the bottom of the food chain means that, for a hamster, break time 05s, the world is a place of constant lurking shadows. Their heightened hearing and sense of smell are not just tools for finding food. Break time equals 05s, they are early warning systems against the silent approach of a predator. In the wild, break time, a sudden shift in the wind or the distant snap of a twig is the difference between life and death. Break time .05s. This is why you might see your hamster suddenly freeze in place, ears forward and body tense, as they analyze a sound that you didn't even hear. Break time .05s. They live in a state of high-definition awareness, where every vibration in the air is a piece of intelligence. Break time .05s. When the house falls silent and the lights stay off, their senses reach their peak efficiency. Break time .05s, at allowing them to navigate the complexities of their environment with a level of mastery that most people never get to witness. They are small, break time of FIFAs, but they are tactical, using the cover of night not just to live, break time 05s, but to thrive in a world that is always watching. As the first hints of dawn begin to creep through the windows, break time 05s, the frantic energy of the night starts to ebb away, and your hamster slowly retreats into the safety of their burrow. Break time 5s. We often think of our gardens and our homes as places that go silent when we close our eyes, but as we've discovered, break time 05s, the stillness of the night, is far from an absence of life. It is simply a shift in perspective. Break To understand the hamster is to realize that what we perceive as a quiet pet is actually a tireless traveler and a master of sensory navigation. Break time 05s, living a life of high-stakes drama while the rest of the world is at rest. Break time 05s. Now that you know the depth of their journey, from the 8-kilometer treks to the way they cherish the sound of your voice, you might look at that. Break time 05's little wheel or that twitching nose a bit differently tonight. The next time you hear a soft rustle in the dark, remember that it isn't just noise. Break time .5's a tiny survivor thriving in a world built on sound and trust. So tell me in the comments, break time 05's, do you find yourself staying up late to keep your little nocturnal friend company? Or have you ever caught them performing just for you in the middle of the night?